Okay, so now the recording has started. Yalla, Sumaya, please.
Okay, so as you guys all know, the media team is having a competition for Tamkeeners to come up with designs for what should be done with the land. It'll be from May 28th to June 18th, so 3 weeks, I believe. Oopsies. Okay, so the competition is pretty simple because it's meant to be more on the fun side. The only instructions are to create a plan showing us what you think would make the best use of the Tamkeen land. So you guys can use any format for your submission. So 3D design, drawings, videos, write-ups, and stuff like that. Anything should be fine as long as it's clearly showing your ideas. Also making sure to go into as much detail as possible with your submission. So things like showing us dimensions, measurements, materials, even a budget would be nice. Going on to the rubric, this is just to help give everyone an idea of what we're looking for. So the first part is about how realistic the submission is. So things like how practical it is and if you follow the instructions in general. Next section is creativity. So how the design was presented, formatting, details, stuff like that. Basically how innovative the submission is. Next thing is the description of the submission. So this isn't necessarily like a written description, but more so how you explain your submission, like having the map keys. So people know everything as we're highlighting different areas, you know, specifying measurements and just like overall clarity. And then the last section is effort. So this part is just about how much effort everyone puts in and if the design was clear and easy for others to understand, which is going to be a huge part because you need to be able to understand what's going on with the designs. So moving on to the next one. This is just a list of details and things to include. We gave you guys some things to start off on, but feel free to include more. So definitely don't limit yourself to these. So some basic stuff like bathrooms, soccer fields, basketball courts, big tents, something for the halaqas, you know, like picnic areas for food and sheds. The only restrictions that we have is that we can't build anything close to the river because of environmental restrictions. We also can't build on the sloped areas. And then we can't cut down any trees. So that's basically all of the restrictions we have. Otherwise, you guys can do anything you want. So some links have been included for everyone to use. So there's the aerial images, so you can see the land from above. There's also interactive maps. So you can see the land from different angles, and then also the suggested app for design, which I think we'll be going over later. So this is just showing you how to measure the exact distance on Google Maps, which I assume everyone will be needing. So this should be pretty helpful. And then this is just to show you guys how to add layers for the interactive maps in case anyone needs it for whatever reasons. And then this slide's actually pretty important because it's going to be the dimensions of your design. So this is literally the blueprint for your submission. And then we also included some ideas for everyone to look at in case you need them for inspiration. So these are just ideas, so you don't base your ideas off of them completely. So this is just inspiration. And then these are the map keys, which everyone should include some form of in their submission. So this is just how we know what each detail of your submission is. So your map keys don't have to be this detailed, but something like a list describing what's shown in the design is super helpful when judging, and also when we're going to be using the designs for the actual land. And then, so in most of our competitions, we usually have prizes, but for this competition, knowing that your submission will be used to help design our Tamkeen land should be enough of a prize. But regardless, we'll still have a surprise that'll be announced halfway through the competition, which will be kind of a prize, I guess. And then once you're done with all of that, all you have to do is submit your work to the Google form, which will be sent out 1 week before the competition deadline. And I think that's basically it. And then if you guys have any questions, you can always ask us, but for the most part, everything will be sent out and everything you need should be in the Google slides. But if you ever have any questions, you guys can just ask. So yeah.
Barakallah fiki, Sumaya. Any questions for Sumaya? I'm going to actually give a live demo for this Google map or how to show this kind of layers on the map. Inshallah, it should take a few minutes. Actually, the first thing, inshallah, probably there are 3 points I want to cover. The first point is I just want to tell you, Shabab, this is your land. We want to make sure the land is developed by you. Some of the parents, may Allah reward them the best. Actually, more than one parent said, let's bring some kind of professional landscapers to do this. Let's bring professional people to do this. And actually, the culture over here, ya Shabab, is no, we want to get Tamkeeners to do everything by their hand. Yes, we want to get people to teach you. Like here, for example, Brother Muhammad is going to be teaching us how to use the software, but you design. Some people are going to be teaching us how to build sheds, but you will build the sheds. Some people will teach you how to do landscaping, but you will do the landscaping. This is your land, and this is, we are building leaders, and we want to make sure you get the experience. فالحمد يعني some of the boys they have been going to the land every Sunday right now, and mashallah they have done amazing progress, and I've been sending to the boys media team to make videos out of it. They were able يعني to get generator running, the water pump, clearing the blue. Mashallah, they're getting their, may Allah put everything they do in their balance of good deeds, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase them in experience. So this is the first point. We need to push back on any kind of fully professional service that come. No, the goal over here is we get our brothers and sisters in the community to teach you how to do things. You get the experience, but you do this on your own. Keep this culture, ya shabab. The same way we used to say in Tamkeen, catering is a bad word. We need to prepare the food by our hands. Same thing over here. We need to learn and do everything by our hands. The second thing I want to cover is the resources Sumaya shared. And I just want to give some, I think you see my screen right now, correct? Did you see this kind of word where you see the address? Am I correct? Can you see it? Am I sharing the correct screen?
Yes.
I would assume, yes. So here, this document is, mashallah, I shared with Sumaya. She put it in amazing Google Slides. So this is the address. You will get it in the slides. I assume Sumaya will share the slides. This is the address. And if you put this address in Google Maps, you will get the address and you will see even the boundary of the land. And actually, even when you visit the land, and if on your phone you grab Google Maps and zoom to a specific level, it will show the boundary of the land. So as you are walking left or right, you know if you are still on our land or are you stepping in the neighbor's land. This is our land. This one, I assume you see my mouse, this is one neighbor, and this is another neighbor over here. To the other side, for sure there are neighbor here, but it is not used. Yani it is probably owned by some people, yani, but they are not using the land. If I zoom over here, this is the boundary of the land. This is the river. We have this triangle, and then this is our land as well. For sure, if you put, yeah, and again, ya shabab, this is here. If you are coming from the highway to this roundabout, you will see McDonald's over here, Subway. And then if you go down from here, this is the boundary. So it's almost aligned with this road. This is the boundary of the land. You can get the aerial imagery. And you will see, shabab, this is the area where you see the address. This is the flat area. This line, this is the road between us and the neighbor, the one where you see the mouse. Over here, if you take this roundabout and you go down, this is the boundary of our land from here. So you can see we have this flat area over here where you see the address. And then there is part of our land that is covered by trees. And I was talking to one of the boys here under those trees. You can see there are some areas that are clear where we can clear them up more and you can make some tents and campsites, for example, or do whatever you want to do. But this is the flat area. This area, Shabab, is higher than the river. This is the river. This area is higher. Then there is kind of a dip. I'll show you this kind of everything in another maps over here in a minute. This area is lower. So whenever there is flooding, it is going to be muddy. And as you are getting closer to the river, you cannot build due to some environmental reason. And I'm going to touch on this in a little bit. Something, Shabab, as I said, you can keep zooming. And then for planning purposes, you can right click and then you can say measure distance. And then you make another click. And then as you can see, it said whatever number of feet. So you can really, and now you can clear measurement, again, measure distance, and then go to another area and this is where you can see the distance, because for sure يعني you need, this is something that you need to keep in mind. uh, this is يا شباب the street, and then the gate is over here. We go through this sloped ramp with a sharp turn to access the land. This is not in our land because the boundary of our land is over here, this street. This is in the neighbor's land, and we have what's called an easement, which means we have the right to go through the neighbor land because it is basically a road going through his land. But our land starts over here and the cars come from here. So you want to consider where to do the parking lot and everything. But as you go down to this area, as you get closer to the river, it becomes more muddy. It becomes, يعني إيه, this area is higher grounds. The other thing that there was a link which you will find, yeah, this is a dimension. So you understand what are the dimensions of the land. And actually one of the things that I used to do even myself, and I showed this in the fundraiser, if you go to Google Maps, and this is what I showed in the fundraiser. If you go to Miners Corners, Miners, this is what I have done. Yani, before this is, you can say measure distance, so you get an idea. It is 586 foot. If you go back to over here, you can see 500. This is 530 plus whatever. So you get an idea. Even you can get the aerial imagery over here. And then you look to the shelter, look to the parking lot, look to the, get some idea for the sizes so that you can map them on the land. The other link, which is what I need to agree, yes. If you click over here, this is the link that's shared. It will take you over here, BDS map portal. Click here to open. Once you click, it goes over here. Then you search by. You can search by permit number. You can search by address. And let me copy and paste the address, because this is actually, it is very good tool from the Snohomish website county. It will give you a lot of good information. Here we are, this is the address. And for sure you can zoom. This is our land. This is our land, okay? This one. Then, actually let me click on, where is it? Yeah, if you go to home, change map layers. This one is very important. Over here, you can put a lot of information. And you can see some layer like elevation. Here, يا شباب, for example, whenever we selected the elevation, I don't know why it is not that clear. Can you see it? This one, as you can see, this area is kind of sloped. This is from the street, it goes very slow. So for those who visited the land from the color, this color, it is the slope. Then there is a flat area, and then there is another dip over here, another dip over here, and then the river. So you get an idea of the elevation of each one through this layer. There is actually another thing, critical areas. This is very good. So I selected, and then in the filter, I'm gonna say flood. Filter, it just, taking some time. Yeah, and then you click on historical 2005 FEMA flood hazards. You can see this part of the land, it has flood hazards, which means it is up to this dip, which means for sure we cannot build anything over here. There's flood hazard from the river. But there is something which is probably the floodway. You can keep playing with this kind of FEMA flood plain in 100 years, and you can actually get the description of each one over here. So you get an idea. You can put more layers over here. All available layers. And then there is contour map. I'm just searching. I hope I can find. Yes, topographic contour lines. So here, ya shabab, for it is loading as of now. Can you see the map? I don't know how clear it is on the screen, but here, can you see those lines? When these contour lines are very close to each other, this means the area is heavily sloped. It's hard to build in heavily sloped area. When you see no contour lines, this means it is very flat. So from the street, there is a sloped area going down, and this is why we go down the ramp. Then this area is fully flat, and then you see some contour line, there is a dip, and then it gets flat again. So I want to make sure, Yani, you visit the BDS map portal so that you cannot build in this sloped area. Now, the last part that I want to cover, ya shabab, over here, which is what are the restrictions on the land so that you do not go wild. We don't want to get people to say, I just want to build skyscrapers on the land and you go wild. The first restriction, this area is very sloped. We may not be able to build on a highly sloped area. This area close to the river is flood hazard. So basically, I would say, if you would like to make structures or this area, you know where the trees from the street all the way up to here, this is heavily sloped. And from the river up to this area, it is kind of muddy or whatever. So what we can do is basically in this area, we can do the buildings, we can do the sheds, we can put the, and it's flat. And for sure, all the basketball, soccer fields, whatever, it is going to be in this flat area. Over here, this area is high, so we can use it as camping in tents. This area is close to the river. It is going to be nice if we put picnic tables. It is going to be nice if we would make some shed and we would store the canoes. So I just want to make sure you are aware of what we can do or what we cannot do. Also, in terms of making soccer field, if it is grass, that would be easy. You want to understand, ya shabab, every time we need to do a major change, we need to seek permit from the city. So the question is, what is the first stage and what is the long term? In stage number one, we want to make sure that things are not very invasive to the land, so it does not involve a lot of permit work with the city. Like, for example, having a grass soccer field is easier than having a turf soccer field. Basketball, you need to put asphalt on the ground, so this is going to be more involving. The bigger the basketball court, the harder it is going to be. But if you want to make volleyball or badminton or whatever, you are using the grass, it is much easier. We are just mowing the grass. So keep in your mind how we can start using the land with minimal cost without battling with the city a lot to get the permits, and then keep a vision for the future, inshallah, that we can go wild. That's all I have for you. I don't want to take much time. I want to save all of the time to Brother Muhammad. He has really the core stuff working with the software. Any questions, ya shabab, for me or what is Iberan sent this link yesterday for permits, I think. Oh yeah, actually the link that you sent, the Mariamo, is that to go to the county. You can go to the county, drop by and meet someone at the counter and keep talking to them with a general question. Or you can pay some money. I don't know how much this is. I think you pay a couple of $100 or $300-400, and then you go and talk to an engineer more professionally. Or you can apply for what they call pre-application. So you can go talk to them for free, but they're going to give you the general information you find on the website, but they will help you. Or you can ask a tech and you will pay some money, or you will send them a form, and then you can make pre-application for $400 or $500 where we give them the sketch. And then you sit down with an engineer and they go to deeper discussion. A question, can we put sand on the grass for volleyball? I don't know. Many of those things, we don't know. We need to check with the city so we know our degree of freedom. So I don't know if we can put sand. I would assume sand would be okay because it is not like making asphalt or whatever. So I think that should be okay, but still we need to check with the city. Sounds good. What else? شباب, yeah. So any other questions? I had something, but I don't know. It went away from my mind. Yeah, and actually, yes, there is the point that I wanted to mention, Shabab. One of the parents was suggesting, should we give you a lot of instructions? Like this is our goal, this is our vision, this is what we want, or should we? My opinion, Shabab, is no, at the beginning, we want to give you full degree of freedom. All of you design. We don't want to put you kind of be narrow focused. Dream wild. Let's collect all the ideas. Then we share all the ideas with everyone. And then we kind of pick and choose or merge all the ideas till we come up with the final design. The final design, it can be merged from multiple designs from you, because maybe someone came up with an idea that's great, another one came with another idea, great. So we sit down together and we merge them. Sounds good? Okay. Having said this, Brother Muhammad, Jazakallah khair. It's all yours. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and please go ahead with the software. Jazakallahu khaira.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. First, I'm sorry for the noise. Real engineers keep their computers until Allah's mercy come, and either the computer is returned to Allah or the engineer goes back to Allah. So if it's too noisy, please forgive me for that. Let me start sharing my screen. And my slides. Okay, so the main idea of my presentation today is to talk about how can you present your ideas on the computer. I don't know if everybody can see my screen. I mean, someone please.
I can see the screen, yes.
Okay, awesome. I will first start with a general concept of the level of details. So if you are doing a bird's eye view, it really doesn't make sense to put all the minor details about every street light and every pedal in the ground. So in this level of detail, we usually use 2D program. I have some example here. There's a software called Paint.net, and it's just like in Google Maps. You will have multiple layers, and you can add your ideas as you go on. Like for example, here I put multi-purpose field, and you can move it around. You can start to resize it and change it and check your ideas without much more easier and simpler than to try to build everything in 3D. So first, deciding whether you are going to go 3D or 2D upfront is going to make you more effective, more efficient in your execution. Now, for the 3D program, I left the program there, but the instructions to set it up is not really complicated. There is a shared folder. In the install, and all you need to do is just set up one program, Sweet Home 3D. And once you are done with the installation, you will get this program. I will go through like basic concepts of this program, and move this back here. So 3D Home is like a well-seasoned program. It has been there for years, and people use it actually professionally as well. It's mainly designed for interior design for homes, but it also has some features that enables it to work to building exteriors as well. So let me try to build something simple and learn some of these concepts while we do it. So the basic building things that you can use in 3D Home are like walls, rooms, and furniture. So 3D Home considers any object that you put in your model as a furniture. So for example, if you have a roof, it could be a furniture. If you have a bathtub, it could be a furniture. We will build something simple. Let's build a bathroom, for example. So let's put our first wall. Let's be generous. So this is 18 feet wall. Well, and then let's close our door. This is the top view, and you can think of it as you are looking at the building. This is the plane. You are looking at the building from the top, and in the bottom here you will see the 3D room being built. Of course, there is no room that can be built without a door. So let's add a door to this building. You can do this in the 2D view here. And as we drag and drop it, you'll see the door already been added. Each object here has properties, and to these properties you can double click, and you can also right click on it and say properties, modify object, modify furniture. In this case, since this is a door, there is an extra feature, modify the opening of the door. I will leave it like partially open. And as you can see in the 3D, it started to look partially open. 3D Home groups these furniture pieces into groups. They call it libraries, and you can install more libraries from their website. I left a link for it here. And you can see that there are lots of things to download from their website. There are libraries of furniture, roofs, trees, and I also added the lumber library. I will talk about this later. But of course, like, go and explore. There are lots of things to look here. Let's go to the bathroom and try to put some stuff here. Let's put a bathtub. minute. Shower. And as you can see, the objects are already in the 3D. You can also change some of the properties of the object. Like, for example, let's have this as a brick wall. So you modify the wall. You say, I'm going to use texture. And let's put stone wall texture on it. As you can see, we have a stone wall. Now, you can have a multi-story building, and 3D Home helps make this easy. In the plane menu, you can add a level, and as you can see, there are 2 tabs now. One for the first floor, and another for the second floor. Let's see what will this make. You will see the first floor now is grayed out, and you can try here and do a copy paste. And now you have a 2-story building, but the furniture of the second floor is floating. This is because we don't have a room. So we go here. So we said, like, there are basic things that you can add in the 3D Home. You have the walls, and you have the concept of a room. A room is basically the floor of your room. Now we have 2-story building with 2 bathrooms. And as you click these tabs, you'll see each floor showing in here. We have now a 2-story building, but we don't have a roof. So let's say that we want to add a roof to this. We will need to add something that doesn't exist in the current library. So we need to import furniture. Do that by going into furniture, import furniture, then pick something from here. I put some objects in the shared folder. So you can see there are some stuff here. The one that I'm going to import right now is the polygonal roof. Yeah. So we are in the second floor, and we are trying to add this roof to our building. Now, the problem here is that, like, the roof should be in the second level, we can do that. And go there and add it here. The gotcha here is that the 3D home is not like perfect, and sometimes you will see a gap between this roof and the rest of the building. And this is because like it always assumes that like furniture is from the ground level. And to overcome this, I learned the trick to insert it here and then change the elevation of that object. You do that by like clicking on this tiny icon in the corner of the object, and then you start to pick it up until it touches the rest of the building. This is half of the roof. Let's copy paste it. Let's repeat it. And here we have our two-story bathroom building. Go back to slides and see if I missed anything yet. We talk about objects, furniture. Yes, so I was planning to do a shed, but like I think the bathroom had more details. So let me show you also another cool thing. One of the objects that I put in the folder is a multi-purpose multi-purpose field. This will give you a quick start to start putting stuff on top of it. So now you have the field already built for you, and you can start right away by just adding buildings next to it. So this hopefully can accelerate the creativity process. I think I also put bleachers. Yes. Oh, bleachers, okay. Okay. Hmm, Let me show you some examples now. So these are some examples, not necessarily built with the same program, but it can show you some ideas of like how you can arrange the area. One example also, actually I myself did. So I actually did this on 3D Home. This guy. So this uses a 3D library called structural lumber. I also included it in the third, I think. Dimensional lumber, yes. So if you add this library to 3D Home the exact same way by like importing furniture or double click on it, it will show up in 3D Home, and you can use it to like build these structural lumber stuff. Let me show you. So each bar of those, you can see here, and you can like modify it and change it. What I like to show you is that this program can also generate a bale of material. Yeah, so it tells you that like we have this much 2x4x8 lumber bars, and like I give you a list of all the material that you want to build this object. After designing this shed, Omar and his mom helped me build it. These are the steps. 3D. We started by the frame and like executed everything by our hands and by the hard labor of Omar and his mom. You will see all the steps here until the whole thing was like erected and so we talked about ideas for discussion. Let me also show you some planes here. Yep. Okay, so here is a fancy plan for like a multi-court, multi-purpose case. One cool thing about this program, the 3D Home, is that you can actually put a background. So let me show you how to do that. Okay, this is a blank new project. Here you can see set background. Yeah, import background image. And you can use this background as a guide to start building your walls and your furniture on top of it. Sorry, my computer is a little bit slow. There are some examples that actually put the background already. I think maybe the Tamkeen folder. Yes. So this file already has the Tamkeen land as a background. Uh, um, examples. Let's take one of these pins. So the length of the multipurpose port, I think, is 100 feet usually. So this tool helps you set up the dimensionality, because like the image doesn't necessarily have to align with the dimensions of your image, but like in order to get it accurately. So just like pick particular length of the image and say like this maps to like 100 feet. And then the program will do the scaling for you. Go here and start to build a wall. That it's roughly 100 feet. So when you put this, when you import the background and you do the measurement right, you can use it as a background to build on top of it, and it makes like building things easier. There are also some ideas that like I'm not necessarily going to build, but they are just like for discussion. Um, here are some ideas for like having some covering. There are like also portable gazebos that can be used. One idea that like came across my mind when Sheikh was talking about flood is board crossing. It's like sometimes used when there is like a floody area. I will start taking questions. I don't know how much time is left, but please just like unmute and ask any questions you have.
So, Mohammed, are those kind of boardwalks and gazebo, are they all also can be added to the application, to the Suite 3D Home? There are some libraries for that, correct?
Yeah. Yes. Can you please which libraries are you asking about?
Yes. So are those all libraries in the shared folders? Because I wanna Tamkeeners know that this shared folder, it is already going to be shared with them. We will send them the link, or they have already received the link. So these libraries, they're already there, correct?
Yes. Not all the libraries. Some of them are on the website, and I also put the link to the website there. So if you go to the install folder, this is the website. Let me put it in the chat.
Yeah, it's for I think we also I collected, the link for the slides, link for the software, link for the installation, those 3 links, and inshallah the recording of this session, and those 4 links inshallah are going to be shared with Tamkeeners after the meeting, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Let's see if our Tamkeeners have quite now I'm scared, Tamkeeners are gonna go wild in their design and will not be able to do the building of their designs.
Okay. So any other questions about the program, or? There are many tutorials on the internet that also like teaches lots of tricks and tips about how to use the program. They are probably better prepared and more detailed than mine. So
There's one hand up from Omar.
So I was just wondering, like, is this competition kind of like open source? Like you can use whatever program in whatever format that can be uploaded to a Google Doc?
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is. You can use anything you want. The website or the app or whatever is just inspiration.
All right, cool. So this app's just like a demonstration of something you could use and like resources to get us started?
Yes, the app is just suggested.
All right, cool.
Another question, Shabab, is it easy? Did you pick up all the ideas? Any questions? How things are going on your side? Any feedback from your side? Any questions, suggestions? So, brother Muhammad, maybe also, if you are okay with this, once they get started with using the software, they may have questions. So I don't know if you are okay with some noise from the Tamkeeners asking you some questions on how to do something, how to add something. That will be great, inshallah.
Inshallah, I love to, yeah.
that, yeah. Because once they start using the software, they will hit some issues, and inshallah, they can ask for more help.
I was actually planning that like this session to be interactive. Like I don't talk much, but just like have a small instructions, and each person on the call would like execute these steps on their own. But like I think at least having an initial demo will make it easier.
Yeah. And maybe also some of the ideas, I would assume, some of them, they're going to get interested in being architects and design and whatever. Once they play with the software, they will get more interested. Maybe we can have one WhatsApp discussion group dedicated for discussion on how to do these designs, inshallah. And maybe they can ask questions on this group. And maybe once they play with the software, we can have another session, inshallah.
Yeah, this program is the easiest one to build like interior design, but like there are more complicated and more
like
advanced
AutoCAD,
stuff.
for example, and those stuff are more professional, correct? AutoCAD, and yeah, okay. So, anything else يا شباب? Any questions? طيب شباب ان شاء الله we're counting on you ان شاء الله. may Allah help you to do great design for the land. Again, this phase is where we would like to brainstorm, get all the ideas from your side, and then inshallah after the competition is over, we are gonna present, everyone is gonna present his design, and then inshallah we're gonna collect the ideas, and then we're gonna pick and choose. We are gonna stage them, what we can do right now, what we can do inshallah, and what we can do right now, and what you can do inshallah after 10-20 years inshallah, and then we go from there. Action items, inshallah Sumaya will share those links, make them accessible, the slides, the recording of this session, the software and the folder and everything, inshallah. We are going to try to make a WhatsApp group. We are going to share the link for this group if you'd like to join and ask questions and have discussions. And then feel free to ask for help, inshallah, from Brother Muhammad. And then if we need to have another session, we can do it again, inshallah, once we have more experience with the software. Sounds good?
Inshallah.
Jazakallah khair. Yeah, yes, Mariamu.
All right, so you mentioned something about it being like 2D and how it's simpler in 2D. I wonder if you can like give a super duper quick summary of how we can use the 2D version.
Yeah, so the 2D version is completely different, but again, it depends on the level of detail that you are trying to present. Again, like a bird's eye 1,000 feet above is not going to show like much of the details of the multi-purpose food court, football court here. So this program that I suggest is called, it's also free, it's called paint.net. And let me start a new page from scratch.
You are not sharing the screen if you'd like to share it.
Okay, let me try to share again. Sorry. Yeah, I put this particular multi-layer image in the shared folder as well. And the application. You can install them. Let me show you where exactly they are. So in the install, this is paint.net, the 2D app that I'm using. And I think in the resources Tamkeen folder, you'll see bird eye .pdn. This is the paint.net image that I'm demoing here. Now let's start from scratch. Let's have a new 2D image. And then let's go here. Let's drag and drop the land. It will ask you, is this a layer or a new image? So I will say like open package. So you get a new image here. And then let's say that I want to add a football court. I put some examples of football courts here. You can drag and drop. In this case, I will try to put it as a layer. Sure. Try to zoom out and the place to put the football court. Let's say that put it in this particular place. Add more layers from here. Let's say that in this case, I want to add a multi-purpose court next to the soccer one. So in reality, the soccer field is 300 feet, I think. And then the multi-purpose one is only 100. So we can actually put 3 of those next to one soccer field. You can manage the layers from here, hide one, show them. You can also select this layer and say move. You can move it around, adjust it. You can rotate it, I think, also. Of course, like I'm working on a very low resolution image. I was not like prepared to spend too much time talking about the 2D, but we can actually have another one for only the 2D one. There are tricks like Sheikh mentioned, like there are better maps and multiple informational layers that we can experiment with.
This is actually amazing, Jazakallah khair, and it gives us like an insight on how to use it.
Other questions? So what is the deadline for the competition? Yeah, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. Jazakumullah kullu khair, Brother Muhammad Ali and Brother Muhammad Ibrahim, and for all the efforts put into this. Just some general questions about for this competition. Are all the Tamkeeners allowed to make the arrangement on any area of the whole land, including like the tree areas? Or do you have some restrictions in there?
Yeah, actually, at the beginning of the meeting, we covered some of those restrictions, like, you know, Were you there, Brother Ahmed, from the
No,
beginning?
no, I'm afraid I came late. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so actually at the beginning, you know, I started with sharing some of those information regarding, and even I went through the some of the county portal. I showed them the flood zone, I showed them the sloped area, I showed them the trees. So they get an understanding, you know, that the construction cannot be closer to the river. They understand, you know, it cannot be on the sloped area. They understand we will not be cutting the trees. We can just clean under the trees, put some tents. So we shared some of those restrictions at the very beginning of the meeting.
Jazakallah kulla khair. That's what I
It's
just
an
needed to
amazing
know.
question, يعني إيه. So Brother Ahmed is civil engineer.
So you are very much
wide
restricted to
list.
the flat area, I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
Before Tamkeeners get too much excited and they want to cut the trees and they want to build in the middle of the river. So
Yes. It's very, very expensive when it comes to cutting trees, and the county or the city might not allow that. Yes.
yeah.
And if the land is sloped, yes, there is so much cost to get it to be excavated or being flat. Yes. So Jazakumullah kulla khair. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. Any other question, يا شباب? طيب, please, let's get started. Install the software, start playing with the software. When is the deadline, Sumaya, inshallah?
It's from May 28th to June 18th, so 3 weeks, inshallah.
It's from yesterday, correct?
Yes.
So you are 1 day late, يا شباب. You see, you are already late. You need to get started as soon as you can. And that would be after their finals and everything, Sumaya, correct?
Yes, and then if we need to extend it eventually.
Yeah, I know you're always generous, Sumaya. You can extend it by, you know, 1 additional week or something. Just in case, يعني, if it conflicts with the finals of Tamkeeners. طيب, جزاكم الله خير يا شباب. جزاك الله خير brother محمد. جزاك الله خير brother Ahmed. And يلا, let's get started, and we'll create, inshallah, create also WhatsApp group, share the link so we can have a discussion over there, and we see how it goes, and maybe we can have another session, inshallah, after the Tamkeeners they play with the software, inshallah. That was good. جزاكم الله خير. بارك الله فيكم. See you, inshallah, يعني ايه, in another session soon بإذن الله. يلا, جزاك الله خير brother محمد. May سبحانه وتعالى reward you the best for this.
آمين يا رب العالمين. انا ما كنتش اعرف ان معانا باشمهندس مدني، يعني احنا كده بنبيع ميه في حاره السقايين.
مش كده برضه ولا ايه؟
الله يجزيكم خير.
ما شاء الله, you did a great job.
الحمد لله.
Can't say anything more than what you did.
الحمد لله. توفيق ربنا. الحمد لله.
جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.